Welcome, my name is Matt, aka Roger88. I'm getting into Grand Arena, round 3 attack phase. I have been able to win the last 2 rounds. I am sitting at potential of either being first or second place in this current event. And I guess we'll find out how this plays out. So I looked at my opponent basic inventory yesterday to see what I might potentially be up against, and he definitely looks like an equal match to me. So now I get to see how he has his defense set up. He's got a lineup of Inquisitors in the top territory, the northern territory. Let's see how the southern territory looks. He's got Phoenix Squad, which is what I did with mine, and makes sense. And in truth, I gotta think this one through. I think I'll go the direction of light side characters. I feel like I may want some Jedis, but this Luke only works with. Okay, here's what I'll do. I'll go with Admiral Akbar as the squad leader, and then Commander Luke Skywalker. So that gives me an attacker and a support character. Weak mods on my Luke, but there are mods. They're both relic amplified. I'll probably throw an R2 in. But at this point, I need I think I'll throw Chewbacca in because he is an attacker. Well, shoot, I don't have any mods on him, but I do have him up at Relic 2. It seems like with the Inquisitors, they're Relic amplified, but they're not much higher up. Given what I saw of the lineup, I'm having to really think this through. He does have his two Zeta abilities, which is helpful. Luke has 3 Zeta abilities. R2-D2 has 2 Zeta abilities. So I think I might go with Han. I just need to make sure I don't go taunting with Han. Let's see what I got going here. See what I can put together. Burn these guys with some oil. As we call it here in Texas, Texas tea. I did exactly what I didn't want to do. But I can at least pick these guys off. Well, there's one Inquisitor down, so that's some points right there. They do have a healer. I generally have a rule of thumb about taking out healers, but then they also got a tank. Okay, so now they have no way of healing the squad. That's helpful. I keep trying to weaken this down. Alright, so I got their healer, the tank out, one of their supports. I still got these I got one other support in the attacker. So I gotta process this. There we go. So I should be able to use my Darth Vader on that Southern Territory, no problem. There we go. That's one territory down. It's all a matter of being able to understand how to run the squads and stuff. And not always letting autoplay have it for you. If you learn how to run the characters, you can manually run it, you can be just as much in charge of the fight. Now his ships were pretty powered up. So my selection, I don't know if I feel the most confident in this, but it won't be for a lack of trying if I lose. Hopefully, if nothing else, I can at least pick off a couple ships. One or two ships, if nothing else. Because they were pretty strong, from what I remember in the inventory. He's got a slave one up at the front line, and he's got the Phoenix in the front line. Doesn't look like he's put much ability into him, though. See, I'm tearing them up pretty quick. You definitely want to build abilities on your ships. So, the Jedi Consular ship the Jedi Consular, well, he's a healer. So, in his ship, he's also a healer. There goes the Slave 1. Boba is an attacker. I'll call out my Phoenix. Suppose I expected the backup to show up. Damn, about to pick up my Phoenix there. This is a pretty good battle right here. His abilities might have been low, but his squad lineup was smart, somewhat, with what he had. Definitely needs to tap into upping his squadron's abilities, though. But the lineup wasn't too bad. I know a lot of us will use the two Phoenix ships as kind of the lead squadron startup ships. I didn't exactly launch that way myself, but I was taking advantage that Mace Windu's capital ship is going to be largely followed by Jedi ships. So that's what I went off of. Dang it, the other one went Spectre mode, and the one I can go after is in retaliation mode. When you see that arrow, that green arrow over their heads, that means they're going to retaliate back on you. So you want to watch out for that. If you had the choice, avoid hitting that target and go for another, but when you got someone that's going incognito on you, you kind of left with not much options there. Now I'm picking off his ships. see, Mace Windu being a support character, and then me having him up to Relic Amplified as well as abilitied up, and his capital ship rarityed and leveled and abilitied up, he was able to provide some pretty efficient defense for my squad, almost like a tank aspect. So, that's 2 territories I've defeated. Now the southern, and this is the one that's a little more daunting for me, admittedly. Because this is a Phoenix and they got a Rex in it, and that is relatively smart. They got Zeta abilities, but that Rex is at 0 Relic Amplified tier, but the rest are all at 3. So, and I've seen how this can play out even with my Darth Vader up at the lead. It can still play out ugly. So, I'll throw an Asajj in, but I want the rest Inquisitorious. Asajj is not going to follow Vader, but the Inquisitors will. Yeah, I'll go with it. I'll go with that. Hopefully my Darth Vader can be what makes the difference, but if he can't, then my Asajj, I expect her to. The Inquisitors should follow Vader, assuming they don't take too much of a punching, and that's the problem about having Rex in the squad, which is why I want to target him first. I want him out. Then I want the rest okay, so I got support characters out. That went a lot smoother than I anticipated. But that's why you have a primary team that's your strongest, have a backed up secondary team for the others. Have like a plan A, a plan B, and a plan C team. 3 different, maybe like 3 different teams, because you have to cover 3 different territories, and you don't know where to expect the strongest squad to be sitting at. That one right there, the Phoenix, the way they are, they can definitely pack some mean hits. Now this is a bounty hunter, and I've got my bounty hunters back in the line. I don't know if I have any other, no. These guys can be just as brutal. They're not going to follow Leia. Shakti, if I'm not mistaken, if she's not a healer, she's a support. Okay, support. And I don't have sufficient mods on her, but I know SWGOH.GG recommends modding her, I think with triple health or something like that. Gives her kind of a tank feature. Okay, it looks like Shakti will follow Kelleran Beck pretty well. So will the Jedi Consular. Well, that's about all of my Relic Amplified characters. So, next to that, alright, I'm not comfortable with the last 2, but they're Relic Amplified, and that's what I'm going up against. But as long as I got someone following in full cooperation with a leader, that doesn't kind of matter to me. My other options were low rarity. Okay, so Boba gets 2 rounds. If you go after him first, you got to be quick to get him out second before he recharges that bounty hunter's resolve. So if you can't guarantee, you may end up having to accept making him last. You can take out the others, which gives him with no defense. I might be able to pick off the other bounties, the other bounty hunters. Yeah, even though I don't have her fully modded, she is providing tank aspects. if I finish fully modding her and building her abilities up, she ought to be able to amplify on that better. And that sucks. But if I can at least dwindle them down. Alright, so that's one down. Bosket's getting close to going down too. I got IG-88 down. He's, even in the books, he's a beast. Even Boba couldn't take him down. I don't know if I'll get to see a return trip. At least anything successful. But I'm down to one territory with this guy, so with my opponent. I don't know how well he can wipe my side of the board. I'll have to find out. There's only one way to find out, too. Damn, Bosk. Who's doing that for you? Is it Fennec causing that for him? Well, I got one enemy down, so I definitely want to accept that. I want to keep that. Okay. I don't know if I can thin down any more with what I have. There's not a whole lot of full cooperation behind Palpatine. He's lucky his own Imperial Guard doesn't betray him, from the looks of that. Speaking of which, his own guardrails, the only guardrails in all the Imperial facilities, sitting on the in the viewing room of the second Death Star, even they didn't even save his life when Darth Vader threw him over him. Dwindle them down more. Please don't charge them up there. And if my suspicion is correct, I'm feeling like Fennec might be partly what's causing that. If not, it's probably Dengar. They both, even in story concepts in the books, they both carry the features of being kind of supportive of their squads. I have to see how this plays out. Now, Boba, when I take him down once, I need to make sure my guys are quick at finishing him off because he's going to come back for a second round. Suck the life out of him. I'm getting close. I don't need him recharging that resolve. Alright, that's all 4 territories of my opponent. Now, it doesn't mean he couldn't wipe the board with me, and the chance he needs to defeat me would be not having to have a second trial, the way I did with the Southern Territory, the Southern Rear Flank Territory. So it's a matter of what he does. And he has been active in his battles. That's why he's at 2 wins. But if this is a victory for me, then I guess I'll begin to take first place, and I'll move up a rank in the Kyber ranking. So, that is Grand Arena, round 3, attack phase. Tomorrow will be the moment of truth to see what happens. So, subscribe to the channel, like the videos, comments, questions, suggestions down below. and may the force be with you. Thank you for following.